Hello, I'm Jacob Angevine. My video is in response to Wesley Watkins. First of all, thank you for your video and establishing your position. Respectfully, though, I have to disagree. The Ukraine should not launch attacks into Russia using U.S. equipment. We need to first understand that Kiev only stays in this fight because of its support from the international community. Therefore, we're talking about a public relations war. If the Ukraine begins to use, as you mentioned, the HIMARS to strike targets inside of Russia, and that results in civilian casualties, this could cause Ukraine to lose the moral high ground, along with the sympathetic support that it is receiving from the international community currently. We've already seen this play out in Belgorod in January of this year. Ukrainian strike killed 22 civilians, injuring another 110 more. We also have to keep in mind that when talking, as you mentioned, about Russian attacks hitting hospitals and residential areas. According to Amnesty International, the Ukraine is known for using these tactics, using these places as staging for their military. So they're hiding their troops inside of hospitals. They're parking their military vehicles next to houses, in order to make the targets less desirable for Russia to strike. And as you brought up, the reference to 9/11, I would agree. Yes, Saudi is our ally, some Saudi officers here. But when you're referencing 9/11, I would be careful conflating terrorist attacks or asymmetrical warfare. The war that Al Qaeda waged upon us on that day, and comparing that to state-on-state conventional war like we see in the Ukraine. And when you're talking about the U.S. going on with their war without asking other people for permission, you got to understand also that the U.S., we had the means to launch and maintain the global war on terror. We didn't rely on international support to fight the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. We didn't need weapons and, as they say, beans and bullets to support our war. I agree, as you said, that they need to fight and punch back. However, we need to be honest. The Russians, they're gaining territory. The Ukrainians, they're losing support from their suppliers, like the American taxpayer. So this means that the weapons and missiles and rockets and bombs that they have, they should concentrate these limited resources to territories that they intend to keep, the ones that Russians are starting to take a foothold in. It doesn't make sense to me to start bombing territory that they're never going to take, when they should be using it for terrain denial. And then something else that I would suggest we consider when talking about bombing inside of Russia, that if Russian civilian casualties were to occur from these Ukrainian attacks into Russia, you would look to see Russia return that favor. They may unleash the many weapons and tactics that we know they have that they have not been using, like mass bombing campaigns. Maybe even with enough civilian deaths from launching attacks into Russia, we could see Putin use nukes or hypersonic missiles to strike Kiev. So we got to be careful what kind of escalations we're talking about here when you're talking about a nuclear power. If you start killing these civilians accidentally, of course, then somebody like Putin is going to return the favor. Yeah, that's my rebuttal. Here Let me introduce my background. This was a key leadership meeting. This gentleman right here, he was the general in charge of the battle space inside of Yemen that I supported as a trainer and advisor to the Royal Saudi Land Forces. And something you'll see, wherever there's a king, you see them. They're always watching. They're always watching. All right, thank you.